I've got the block all cleaned up and ready to assemble. Normally you would have already checked the main bearing clearance, but since I were doing everything out of order, it makes perfect sense. So I cleaned everything up, put the main bearings in, torqued the main bearings down to the factory spec using factory lubrication. The dial bore gauge is set on the crank size, so we're going to be measuring directly the bearing clearance. Number 5, 2.4 thousandths, number 5, 2.4 on number 4, this is 0 up here and we're just reading direct clearance. 2.2 number 3, 2 on number 2, and 2 on number 1. So everybody's happy with that. I realize the guy at the crank shop told you that he cleaned the crank and everything, and I think that was real nice of him and everything, but you're not going to take his word for that. You're going to clean it yourself. Of course, the only way the rods can get oil is through the crank. So it comes through this main and to this rod. So every one of these holes you see, you have to brush them out. You can use lacquer thinner or mineral spirits or whatever you want, gasoline, I don't know, anything you want, and just run it through there. And if it comes out clean, you must have it clean. And do every hole, and then you'll be ready to put it in. I set the crankshaft and the main bearings without a cap and checked the preliminary thrust and had plenty of thrust. Now I put the center main cap on, and remember how in a previous video when I tapped the cap on, it wasn't exactly straight with the lower. So I had to tap it over and that was fine. But when you're putting it together, how do you make sure that the thrust is lined up? Because if it's not lined up, then you know that you're only going to be wearing on one side of the thrust bearing, because one is going to be 1/1000th difference between the other. And so we'd like to have that lined up. So all I do, and we'll never be able to see this. We don't know if I fixed anything or if there was anything wrong to begin with. We're just trying to do what we think is right. So all I do is set it up like that and hit it. And now I feel that I have moved that cap. If it needed moved 1/1000ths, I feel I have moved it. To where now they line up. So let's just hope all that's right. Okay, the main caps are torqued down, and now we're going to check the thrust for real. And we've got 6, so we're right in spec. Now it's time to install the distributor drive bushing. I think the Mopar spec, if there is such a thing, is where this long groove in here is straight down in the bottom. I believe that's... Sometimes you'll see this, depending on the manufacturer, this may not be right here, it might be up here or whatever, and that's fine. This is you can't buy this stuff from Mopar anymore. This is a sealed power, which is made in the USA, and the distributor drive gear is the same thing. You can use whatever you want to drive this in. The advantage, supposedly, with the factory tool is after you drive this in and this swells down from the interference fit, when you pull this back out, this is supposed to size this to the distributor drive gear. And if you don't use one of these, you're going to have days where that thing just doesn't want to turn, and then you're going to wonder what to do. But the only downside to the factory tool is you don't have as much room to hit here. In other words, if this was this diameter, it would be better, because what happens is if it's hard to go in, you'll end up putting a dent right here, and that looks bad, and it probably is bad, and so just take it out and throw it away and put another one in. But that's why I oil up the hole and oil up the back side here before I drive it in, trying to make it drive in easier so everything will work smooth when you get done without denting the face in here. And we've got a made in USA sealed power distributor drive gear, and it spins nice. We're all good. And we didn't put a dent in the drive bushing hammering it in. If you don't know, a Mopar big block wedge, to oil the top end, basically all of the oil has to go through this passageway. So you have to treat this like every other passageway in the block and check it out, clean it out if it needs it. With a flashlight, you can, little flashlight in some spots, you can inspect every oil passage in a Mopar block. You can't just assume there's nothing in there. Look, I mean, a flashlight, you've got one of those. So check it all out. You can shine a light here and you'll be able to see everything in that passageway. Make sure it looks good to you. But treat it like a normal passageway. It has to be clean, just like every other passageway in the block. And you can get a little brush to clean it with. I normally use lacquer thinner or something like that to clean that out, and then blow it out, and then wipe it down and lube it up and put it in. Just Mopar Joe, we were putting a motor together here for his car one time, and he was going to clean up the cam to put it in. So I said, okay, well, be sure you clean out those two holes in the number 4 cam journal. He said, there's no holes in the number 4 cam journal. And I said, well, you're blind. You're crazy. They're there. They're in every cam. So I went and looked at it, and there's no holes in the cam. So that took us a while to fix that. But, of course, these holes intersect. And if you want any oil to the top end, it has to have 2 holes. If you think there's something in there bad, casting, flash, whatever, and you need to drill that out, I believe that's a number 20 drill bit, which is 161 thousandths. And you can put it in there and chase that hole out. Be gentle if you have to drill this out, because you don't want to break a drill bit off in there. That wouldn't be any fun. Well, after all of that, this seems nearly impossible to imagine. I don't know how much bad luck you can have with camshafts in 1 month, but so I get ready to put this camshaft in, and of course I check it out, and you can see where this hole connects. One hole didn't go all the way through. This is really hard to imagine. Okay, that's one side. There's the other side. It broke through to the other side. I can see light when I shine in here. But if you look closer, you can see the cast iron hanging into the hole. There's this side. And there's this side. It almost made it all the way through. This is 1.95 in diameter, so 975 is how deep it would be to the center. And of course you have to go a little further than the center because you got to get, they have to intersect fully. So there's this side, which is proper, a little over 1 inch. Here's this side. Look how far away that is. Can you see that? It's unbelievable. Okay, this is what this side is. It's not going all the way in. I mean, I can see it. I can see it in there. It's hanging in there. The drill bit went through almost all the way, and some flaked off, and I can see through there. And if you feel, this is 62 thousandths in diameter. If you feel around here, I can find the part that broke off, and it goes all the way in, right there. That goes all the way in. But it only goes this far. See there, it went all the way in. But it doesn't go that far most of the time. It's unbelievable. Now I've got to drill it out. If I break this drill bit off in this $370 cam, I'm really, really, really going to be mad. I really can't believe what's happening. This is going to be miserable because, you know, it's real jagged down there. It's not like we're drilling a hole. We're not drilling a hole. Half of it's already broke through, and it's going to be all jagged and nasty down there. I really want to mill it out with a 5/32 end mill, and I actually found one, but it's only about 3/4 of an inch of cutting shank on it. If I break this drill bit, it's going to be a bad day. I guess I need to go real high speed so it doesn't kind of grab, and I better go very, very slow. Don't like that. Cast iron should drill easier than that. We have a top quality drill bit in there. Wow. These things, especially roller cams, these are real hard out here, but in the core it should not be. I bet that's it right there. It took out quite a bit of material. Yeah. Good, good. All right. That's it. We're done. All right, I'm happy. I'll clean it up and wash it and inspect the hole again, but I think it's all fixed. I'm going to use this Melling timing chain. It's made in USA, double roller, kind of an upgrade. Since we have a thumper cam, so to speak, it's about double money over the stock replacement, but I thought since we had an aftermarket cam. This is it comes with a 3-position 4 degrees advanced or 4 degrees retarded. We're just going to put it in straight up. I let the timing chain soak in oil overnight, and hopefully that'll get us some oil in the rollers where we want it. You can't say that you lost the instructions because they put them right there on the back of the box, and it's pretty good instructions too. I've got the timing chain on, and the cam lobes look like they're right in the middle of the lifter bores.